All right, we need to talk about something critical that every single developer needs to hear, like right now. There's a really sophisticated and widespread attack happening in the NPM ecosystem, and it's actually weaponizing the very tools you trust every single day. So let's break down exactly how this thing works, and more importantly, what you can do to protect yourself.
And look, that's not an exaggeration. It's a direct warning from security researchers, and it just perfectly captures the stakes here. The open source package registry we all rely on, yeah, it's become a primary target for nation state actors.
And this isn't some random chaotic attack. Oh no. It is a highly organized effort, and it even has a name: the Contagious Interview Campaign. It's a clever and honestly devastating social engineering trick designed to get developers to infect their own systems. So, what's really at the heart of the problem here? Well, think of it like this. The NPM registry, that trusted well of code that millions of us draw from every day, has been poisoned. Malicious packages are being dressed up to look like legitimate tools, just waiting for an unsuspecting developer to come along and install them.
So that brings up a wild question, right? How in the world does a job interview become an attack vector? Well, the attackers are way more clever than just uploading bad code and hoping for the best. They've actually turned the developer hiring process itself into the delivery mechanism. Let me show you how it works. It's basically a three-stage trap. First, a North Korean actor pretending to be a recruiter reaches out to a developer. Then, stage 2, they actually conduct a fake technical interview. This is all about building trust, making it seem legit. And then, here's the final step, the real kicker. They ask the developer to do a take-home assignment by installing a specific package from NPM. And of course, that package is the Trojan horse. And what's hiding inside that package? This really nasty piece of malware they're calling OtterCookie. Now, this is not your average virus. It is a sophisticated tool built for one thing and one thing only: total compromise. We're talking stealing your credentials, your company's source code, your crypto wallets, and even installing a persistent backdoor so they can get in later. Okay, so what's really kind of fascinating and frankly terrifying about all this is the sheer scale of the operation. We're not talking about a couple of isolated packages here and there. No, this is a coordinated flood, and it's designed to maximize the chances that someone, somewhere, gets infected. So just how widespread are we talking? Well, in the last month alone, security teams have pinpointed this many distinct malicious packages tied to this campaign: 197. That's 197 potential backdoors into a developer's machine, and by extension, their company's entire network. And just so we're crystal clear, these aren't just suspected packages. These are confirmed malicious uploads. And they're sneaky. They often come with professional-looking README files, maybe even some basic functionality, all of it engineered specifically to make you lower your guard. And you know what? The deception is absolutely working. The impact is just staggering. In just the past month, these malicious packages have been downloaded more than 31,000 times. That's over 31,000 development environments that are now potentially compromised. And because this is an active, ongoing campaign, you know that number is just climbing higher every single day. This isn't something that happened. It's happening right now. I mean, just think about the potential fallout here. It's catastrophic. One single infection can compromise a dev environment, lead to the theft of priceless source code, and create those nasty backdoors into corporate networks. But it gets worse. Since NPM packages are often dependencies for other software, this can kick off a full-blown software supply chain attack, affecting who knows how many downstream users. Okay, that's the threat. It's serious, it's scary, but you are not helpless here. So let's pivot and talk about the solution, because there is a clear, actionable defense plan that you and your team can put in place literally right now to protect yourselves. So your defense plan really boils down to 4 critical steps. Let's call them audit, verify, educate, and isolate. Let's dig into why each one of these is so important. First up, auditing your recent installs. This is critical because you have to figure out if you've already been breached, especially if anyone on your team has been interviewing for a new job lately. Next, verification. Use tools that can act like a checkpoint, scanning these packages for anything suspicious before they can do any damage. Then education. This is huge because the whole attack relies on social engineering. Your developers are your human firewall. And finally, using private registries for your production code. This dramatically shrinks your attack surface by limiting how much you're exposed to the public NPM battlefield. So the biggest takeaway here is that the entire landscape has changed. It's a fundamental shift. What we all once saw as just a trusted utility, a library of helpful tools, now has to be treated as a potential battlefield. We have to move from a mindset of implicit trust to one of zero trust. And that really brings us to the final critical question that you need to ask yourself and your team. Is your package.json file, that simple list of dependencies holding your entire project together, is it actually a ticking time bomb?